And then go here.
Oh, you can hear me good, right?
Yep. Okay, here you
Cool.
go. 1 second. All right, we are live on Facebook. I just got to do a couple of things. Let's see. Got to go to Facebook. Let's see. Go to my page. But we are live. Everybody tune in. We got Big Omeezy. My brother is in the building, you guys. Let people know. Let's see. Let me find us right here. Turn on notifications. Partnership. It is. Edit post. I think go to phone. And let me go to Facebook on my phone. All these devices, family, all these devices. This is so different from when I was carrying all that equipment, remember?
Yeah, it's all good. But the fact that you know how to work it, that's a good sign.
I know. Isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Oh, because we already got people watching. All right, y'all. I see y'all already tuning in. Y'all see my brother up here. Look at him. Looking good. Ain't he looking good, y'all? Oh, let me do this real quick. So I can see the comments. Big Omeezy. What's
Was
poppin'?
happening?
I miss you, brother. Just like I told you when we signed up. I miss going places and I miss seeing you. Okay. Of
Yeah,
course I see you online, but ain't nothing like seeing you and getting that big Omeezy hug. You know what I mean? So
that's a good point right there. And I do miss giving hugs, and I do miss being in Sacramento and seeing all my folks and being able to pull up to all the different events and support all the different movements and shit like that. But I'm out here. It's coming. It's actually, I think June like 14th would have been is no a little bit maybe June 1st. I've been here 2 years in
how's
Orange
it?
County.
Two
Been 2 years.
years?
Yep.
Oh
Two whole
man.
years for sure. Yep.
Oh man. Wow. So let's find out about Omar Hilton, right?
Hello. What's happening? Speak
what
on it.
what was Omar like from like kindergarten to sixth grade?
Oh, I was a badass kid. I was bad as hell. I was burning up my toys. I was running with my cousins. We was running the streets of East Oakland, deep East Oakland, over there 98th and Bancroft. We was out there hustling, and I went to Morse Cox in East Oakland. You smell me? And we did everything on the sun. We was hustling. We was pumping gas. We was folding boxes at Round Table. Anything to make some money. That's what we was doing. We was out
Elementary?
straight up. Straight up.
Wow.
Yeah, yep. This is all truthful artifacts. I was working, we pumping gas, we was hustling. We was out, what I'm saying? We
Uh,
was at Carlos Verde, Sunnyside Park. We was, around a bunch of D boys, what I'm saying, trying to make money however we could. You smell me? So it was going down. I was a badass kid. I was a good kid. Like K-Dot said, good kid, mad shitty. But Oakland taught me how to survive off of nothing, and that's that helped build the person I am today.
wow. Now, what happened in junior high?
Shit, the same thing,
Same
same
thing?
thing, same thing.
Did
Yeah,
you,
straight up.
you didn't play sports or anything like that, or
I was boxing and martial arts. I was anything dangerous type shit. I was, I was. My father put me in martial arts when I was in SAC in like 80, 85, 86, 87. Had me
wait
taking
a minute? So, how old
taekwondo.
were you?
Um, Shit, you had to do the math. That was a long ass motherfucking time, but um, I think I was like 11, 12, 13, 14, like around, what I'm saying, like that. Um, you know, um, I was into a lot of martial arts movies and magazines, buying all kind of martial arts magazines, making weapons. You just taking tools and just I was destructive, very destructive. I'd take anything, take it apart and put it back together again. You know what I'm saying? On that type of page. Um, but I went half of middle school. I was in Okay, half of middle school, I was in Oakland, in East Oakland. Then my mother moved us to Ogden, Utah, and
Mm.
I went to middle school to there. But it was the same stuff. Got caught shoplifting right across the street from the school. You know what I'm saying? Just in trouble for nothing, just doing a whole bunch of iffy things. You know what I'm saying? I thought I was so ganged up from being from Oakland that when I went to Utah, around all these quote unquote square folk that I was gonna be able to just run amok. But no, that got knocked out the window real quick. So I straightened up, but I did, but I didn't type stuff.
uh, and you said okay. So, high school? Did you mention high school or no?
I went to high school my freshman year, believe it or not, at Hiram Johnson.
Did you?
Straight up,
Okay.
I did. Yeah, went to summer school, and fun fact, I was in summer school with Doey Rock.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well,
I
rest
was
in
in
peace,
summer school. That's
brother.
where I first met him. That's where I first met him in summer school at Hiram Johnson. Straight up. I can't say we became no friends at that particular time. You know what I'm saying? Even in high school, he was wearing a backpack, had the cuts all in his eyelash. You know how people did in the '80s,
Oh,
and
I
yeah,
forgot
he was
about
on.
that.
He was already on that page. You know what I mean, he probably would have had a high top, was died in the top, but I don't remember seeing that part because he did it. He had his Scully kind of like how I got mine, his hat. You feel me? But yeah, so I started. So um, to be honest with you, I was because my parents were divorced when I was real young. Um, excuse me if I don't know the exact ages because I blocked a lot of shit out as a youth, so I don't be knowing how old I was at what time, but
Yeah.
I remember what happened straight up because I feel like I was in the streets when I was a kid. Came home when the lights came, not even really came home at night whenever when we was in East Oakland. Um, so I was already conditioned to just, to take care of myself to the best of even though my mother for sure and my father for sure, did they due diligence to the best of their ability. But at the end of the day, it's just as an Aries, I survived on my own instinct and making up my own mind for my own self, as a young kid. So let me go back to high school. I spent years one year in summer school in SAC at Hiram Johnson, and then went back to Utah because I felt like the education was better. That goes back to me making my own decisions because one day I was at Hiram Johnson and I was sitting at the in class and I was trying to do my work right, and somebody said, "What you doing?" I said, "Man, I'm just trying to do my work," and she said, "Even if you don't do nothing, they still give you a C." And I tried it. I didn't do nothing. I kicked it. I talked with everybody. Got my report card. I had a C. I had a C minus. But then I thought to myself, nah, this ain't it. I
Right.
got to get up out of here. I got to get back to where they're gonna give me a real education. They didn't have no electives like photography and ceramics and auto shop and all that. You know what I'm saying? But in Utah, at Ogden High School in Ogden, Utah, they had all that. You know what I'm saying? Theater, they had anything you wanted to do piano class, anything you wanted to do, they had that for you. So I made this decision, to go back and stay with moms and finish out high school, knowing that as soon as high school was done, that I was going to get on the next thing smoking. But at the same time, every summer I was coming back to SAC to join the movement, with my pops, and then go back for school year. You feel me? So, that's where that duality of my mindset I've always had. My mother is from Oakland, my father is from Fillmore, Frisco, San Francisco. So that's that duality. You feel me?
So your dad was living in Sacramento.
My dad moved to Sacramento. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So when I went to Utah and graduated from there, that's when I came back. That's when I came back. As soon as I'm talking about, I didn't even think about it. As soon as I graduated, I'm like, I'm going back to SAC, and that's what I did. I hopped on the Greyhound bus, like I always did, and got dropped off, got picked up downtown SAC at the Greyhound bus station, and the rest is history.
What's up, Rick Camacho? We see you. We see you.
Camacho, what's happening, family? Straight up, you did.
Every,
Soul Kitchen Radio vet right there. Me and
right,
him.
right. And Damian Sanders and everything. Damian, you got to refresh my memory on your DJ name. So I just met him at the Oak Park block party.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he everywhere like air.
yeah, exactly.
He
So,
everywhere.
so was that you who told me that your dad was a Muslim, right?
Yeah, minister in the Nation of Islam. Yeah, for sure.
Did you say you used to? Was that you who say you used to have to go out there and with the news? What was the
Oh, I
newspaper?
was out there selling final call, bean pies, all that.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
I
Okay, so
sure
that
was.
was you.
I sure was.
Okay.
I met a lot of cats, a lot of my folks from Oak Park and everything, everywhere. I like just in the '90s, that SAC was active in the struggle. It was all kind of different, this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, everybody's mind state was about elevating each other. You know what I'm saying? As Black folk to better our situation. You know what I'm saying? So even at Sac State, we was always going up to Sac State and just selling newspaper final calls and sciencing up with people and just trying to get everybody woke. You feel me? So
Did you have the
yeah,
suit
Sac
too, bro, and everything?
A suit, bow tie, everything in 100-degree weather. Yes, I was out there in the middle of the street doing all of that. Don't ever get it twisted. Yes, that was me and
Yeah,
her,
yeah.
straight up. That was me and my father. My father was the minister of Oakland, in San Francisco, and then he became the minister in Sacramento, and then but we was all as far as Turlock and back. We was everywhere, just pushing the program.
Now Rick Camacho said I met Omeezy at the mosque.
At the mosque, yeah.
The mosque. Get laced
Right.
up with game from his pops. That's what Rick Camacho
Yeah,
said.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
My father, another fun fact, 101, what is it, 100.1, the pirate radio station.
oh yeah, yeah.
He started that.
Oh really? Wait a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
One on one? He
100, I think it was 100.1 CPR radio. It was right there broadcasting live from Oak Park. That's when you had the antenna and then you had to move it so you wouldn't get caught. But it was right there in Oak Park. They had the CPR. Trust me, Ebro and all them. They hip. They know what's up. They
yeah.
know
I
that
remember.
he laid the foundation for what became 103.5, the bomb. Don't ever get it twisted.
Oh, see, all
Straight.
right, great. I just
Yes.
learned something new because remember, Mark and them had the one off of Franklin, that one.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that kept getting shut down. They find another
Yeah,
location.
that's how you had to do it. You had to, you got the signal, then you moved around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, that was funny. So when did you discover like the music?
I was rapping in high school.
Oh, by
I was
yourself
definitely,
or with others?
see, a lot of people don't know that either. That's another fun fact. I was rapping in high school. I had, first of all, when I was in Ogden, Utah, the first people that I've seen rapping was, that I ever thought that it was possible locally in Ogden was a dude named Kevy Kev, Bobby Kersey. To me, those are the ones I always give credit because they was swagged out. And then they had, and they was, when you see somebody doing something that you don't know is possible, and then you say, oh, okay, that's what it looked like, that's what it sounded like. This is right around the time when Yo MTV Raps and all that came out. So it was like everything was concurrent. My homie Tony Smith, he used to record all the Yo MTV Raps. And then as soon as I get out of school, I come over his house and they put the tape in, and we just watch all the videos, Yo MTV Raps and shit like that. Um, but Kelly Kev and Casanova Kersey, these are my friends to this day. And DJ Tan was like Dr. Dre to us. They had he was him he was staying at his Uncle Cotton's. He was in the basement, had his turntables. You know what I'm saying? He's had the whole basement laced with posters and everything like that. So that mesmerized me to the point where I'm like, okay, um, I never tried to pick their brain and tried to learn how to rap. I just taught myself by this, what I was seeing, and then I started writing. I had got a job my senior year. See, they had opened up for like Doc Box, Be Fresh. They had opened up for Rodney O and Joe Cooley. This was all mesmerizing to me because they local. These people,
Yeah.
like, I'll be at Marshall White Center, at the community center with every day, watching cats hoop and all that. You know what I'm saying? And my brother Lee and all that. So it's like, these are people. While they doing all that, I'm downstairs in the community center doing kung fu shit like that, like, and boxing, and and lifting weights, and try to turn myself into the Terminator. You
Oh,
try to turn myself into the Terminator, for real, for real. I really thought I was gonna
I
be a
believe
ninja
it.
assassin, like in real life. So let me go back to rapping. So with DJ Tang, we had recorded a couple of tapes. Like, I had like the song called Continuous Flow, and I think I did another one. But the technology, and we had no money to go to the studio, and they didn't really have no black radio stations and nothing like that. No opportunity for you to go out there and flea flick your way into a deal, no type of real record deal. We didn't know nobody that had no record deal, so it wasn't even a concept of us trying to really even try to shop nothing or do nothing like that. My group was called the Gate of Doom, Dominating Organization of Men, and my name was PMO, Prime Minister Omar, because I was on my black tip. I was on the black tip. You feel me? And then we had Just That One, my boy Tone Smith, and then my white homie, it was Jay Swift. You feel me?
Wait a minute,
Then I
was
was
this
right.
out of Oakland or Sacramento?
This was out of Utah. I
Oh,
was
yeah,
in
to
Utah.
Utah. Oh,
Yeah, yeah, but so that's why I say so I'm doing this when I'm there during the school year. Then summertime hit, I'm coming right back going to the mosque. So I'm basically turning it into a whole nother person when I come back here. So a couple of brothers in the mosque, I'm rapping with them though. You know what I'm saying? I'm making rap songs. Pro black raps, of course, for sure. You know what I'm saying? And like that. Because I like Public Enemy and Ice Cube and Poor Righteous Teacher, and all these, these songs is different. Not that I'm making them type of records, but I still have positivity in my songs about telling people that you could do whatever you want to do in life, because the things that I've been through, I know firsthand. I bear witness to the fact that you come from absolutely nothing, living with rats and roaches and shit, having holes in your jeans, barely even knowing what you're gonna eat and all this, and you can turn into somebody that's traveled the world multiple times, performed with one of the biggest dudes on the planet. You know what I'm saying? And just and never stops gritting and grinding to take care of himself and his family, and put himself and his family in a better position in life. It's possible and it's feasible. You just can't be no sucker. You got to play by the rules and regulations that are set out there for us to follow, and then it'll come to you. You smell it straight up.
that's right. That's right. Drew Burke says, "What's good, bro?" He did a good job emceeing this past weekend too.
Oh, Drew always shout out to Drew, man. Drew always show me love, and I appreciate Drew for always showing me love. You know what I'm saying? When I did my Dream and Believe It, Achieve It talent showcase, you know what I'm saying? He didn't charge me a dime. He had the sponsorship. All I had to do was show up. Um, and I was sitting up here, and they see what he messed up was he gave me a big ass bottle of alcohol. So then I reverted to artists. You had to dig. But we had a great time, and my daughter actually won the championship, the whole thing, because she could sing her ass off. My daughter Ayana, She
Yeah.
could sing her ass off, and she ended up winning the thing. And we didn't set it up like that. The judges and everybody just said that she won. Period. You know what I'm saying? So I say that to say shout out to Drew Burke. That's my guy forever.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I love Drew. We're gonna might have to Drew, we gotta schedule you too to come up on here. But okay, so you was rapping and stuff. How so that was like in high school. So do you still keep in contact with the people with the people who's rapping with in Utah?
Every time, let me tell you something. So Sack know me one way as an artist. In Utah, in Ogden, Utah, Big Omeezy is somebody who made it, who actually made it. You know what I'm saying? Who basically grew up there and made it. I've done summer jams there. You know what I'm saying? I've done Juneteenth there, shit that I haven't done in SAC, but that don't, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've every time 40 got a show in Utah or we did, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I'm always all my folks always pull up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, I got a lot of folks in SAC, but I got some close homies folks that I'm talking about 10, 15 more, cats every time I
Mm,
pull up, you know what I'm saying? They right there and you know what I'm saying? And like one time we did Summer Jam, I had a whole van full of people, all VIP you know what I'm saying? Because these are my loved ones. These is
yeah.
BR, like 40 say BR before rap. You smell me?
Yeah. Yeah.
These cats, you know what I'm saying? When I was broke, they was always right there, you know what I'm saying? Holding me down, you know what I'm saying? So I got genuine love for everywhere. Like I was talking to 40, we was in OG Buzz, and he was like, so where you from? I said, I'm from Oakland, I'm from Sac, I'm from Frisco, I'm from Utah, period. I'm
Uh-huh.
from all these places because all these places helped me become who I am. And you know, I would be different if I didn't give credit to all these different places that saying that I live because like I said, they helped me, they helped me become who I am.
Now, so how did you meet 40? I know I've heard the story, but so people will know. How did that happen?
I don't even know if you heard the story. Hit 'em hard security is the rawest cats to ever do it in Sacramento as far as security, as far as nightclub security, bodyguarding and all that. We was the what that is. You know what I'm
I
saying?
heard stories.
In real life. Um, so we had a club that we was doing, and if y'all don't know about Hit 'em Hard Security, ask some OGs who went to the club back in the days. It's 2 hours. This had to be a 2 hour interview just for me to talk about Hit 'em Hard Security and the demonstrations that we put down in SAC, straight up. But we had
You
the
know what, real quick, speaking of that,
we would do that.
I told
We're
JB to jump on this, and he wants his own show.
Yeah, he should. But we would do some of the we would do the most thugginest parties because we had the most thugginest dudes on our team, or we would do college parties, or we would do frat parties with, you know what I'm saying, Marky Town, like, or we would do Spanky productions, we would do um like this is like I said, Galaxy right there on Stockton. I think it was on Stockton, Galaxy. Then we would do Vogue Entertainment. We would do Rusty Duck and all that. You know what I'm saying? Episodes. If you
You
from
know the
SAC,
whole thing.
if you from Sac, you don't know about episodes and all that. Even Rancho Arroyo, there
Yeah.
wasn't no event jumping off. I'm a legend just on some security shit. Just that we legends. Me and Jay Beezy and our crew hit them hard. We legends just off of that. That's undeniable, and period. So that's that part. But we was doing a club in Vallejo called Nubian's Cafe Soul. See, first of all, 40 and them used to always when In a Major Way, not before In a Major Way hadn't came out yet, but Captain Save-A-Hole and all that was out, and they was performing that at episodes. You know what I'm saying? The club episodes. They would pull up in the SC 500s, and they would, you know what I'm saying, and we'd be like, "Who is that?" And then, the big ass cats get out the car, go do One Love and all that, sprinkle me, and hop back in the car and bounce, or whatever. I mean, we was always outside. Me and JB wasn't really tripping like that, but um, we had got this club, Nubian's Cafe Soul, because Kev Dixon, Captain Saberho, thought we would be able to hold it down, and this particular club, we held it down, and it was thugged out. I'm talking about real stories of the highway patrol, was there one night when they got shot up and shit like that. These are the parties, the type of parties we did back in the days. But he said he needed somebody to do security, look out for 40 and shit like that. So me and JB was on the case. We right when In a Major Way came out, we was at TY Uzi's in Oakland. I'm talking about it came out at midnight. We was there, boom, on the deck. And shit, it's been history ever since, to be honest with you. That's a whole nother 2 hours just talking about that part.
Now,
But me and JB and all of us, we was trained to go, period. Like, point blank. You know what I'm saying? So, that was nothing. We got stories upon stories upon stories about the accolades that we did, but you know what I mean?
now
It's all out there.
explain how you and JB, y'all relationship, how y'all, met or whatever, and
Uh, I think I was doing armed security. And I pulled at what was it, La Mission? La Mission on Florin?
that sounds familiar.
La
That's not.
Mission. You don't know La Mission? You great. La
What
Mission
year
was a
was
big
that though? What year was that?
94, 90, 94, something like 94.
I was like a young mother back then. Go ahead.
I mean, we older than dinosaur Ewan, but it is what it is. So I mean, we clicked off the bat. You know what I'm saying? We clicked off the bat. So that was then, like I said, I was doing armed security, and I seen him, and saw what they was doing, and then I just we linked up. That weekend I went to OSAC. I forgot the name, the Union. You know the
Oh
Union?
yeah, I remember the Union. Uh-huh.
Pulled up to the Union. We had a meeting and shit. I mean, it was everything was God, and it was all natural like an afro. That's my brother. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Don't ever get it twitted. And you know,
Yeah.
he need
Shout
to
out.
bring his he
Yeah.
need to bring his ass back down here so we can go to Disneyland like we did last year.
Can he get on the rides?
Yeah, yeah, we both can. My big ass for sure can. There's a lot of rides.
You
It's a
gonna have
lot
to
of
get on
rides.
the kids one.
Nah, you can do that too, but I'm just saying it's a lot of rides that you trust me. You come out here, let me be the tour guide. I teach you how to do it the right way.
Oh my goodness. Shout out to JB. Shout out
Shout out
J
to
and
Buck.
Tawana is JB from not Liner Security. No, Hit 'em Hard Security.
Hit them hard. Yeah, hit them hard.
Yes,
Yeah.
he hit him hard and stuff. So we
Yeah.
got a Crystal Brand. Um, all right, so got how did you get into, like, I skipped over that whole part. Like, what made you get into, I know you're doing martial arts and stuff. Did that kind of make you want to get into
Well,
security?
in the nation, and then when you're in the nation, you automatically do security for the dignitaries. You automatically, do security, teach them. It's just, when you're in the nation, you learn how to do pat downs, and you learn how to, what I'm saying. Like I was a lieutenant, then a captain. You know what I'm saying? If you probably got to ask somebody what a captain is. A captain is the highest level that you know what I'm saying, on that part. As far as for a Maz, that's the ones in charge of teaching and training all of the brothers. You feel me?
Mhm.
So I was that because like I said, my father, since I was a young mustache, was training me to to go. You know what I mean? And that's where. So I just always took everything further. He always told me to take everything further, and that's where I looked at with that. I mean, when you have a skill set, and you're trying to get into a specific business, like in it's the entertainment business. Like I already knew that I wanted to get in the entertainment business when I was in high school. I just knew that the only way you can get in, you got to intern, or you got to, know somebody, or you got to have a skill set. My skill set was busting heads. I was good at it, and I got with another good cat in JB who was good at busting heads, and a whole bunch of other people that was good at busting heads, and we decided to all work together to enhance our our standings. You feel me?
Wow. So, so 40 saw you. So, I mean, y'all had the meet. I mean, did 40 was part of that meeting? No, no, that was at the end. So how did 40's like, hey, I want, how did you get on the team with 40 to where you travel? I mean, you know, you're the hype
Kev
man.
Dixon. Kev, oh, that was see, that was years later. You feel me? You know,
Mhm.
that was so I got with 40 in 95, 1995, and but I didn't perform with him. I didn't perform with him until 2005, 2006, 2005. You know, basically right when the hyphy movement jumped off. But um at the same time, I was learning how to manage other artists. You smell me?
Okay.
So I had producer, you know, me and Kwame, you know, Mr. We had, you know, that whole, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, those.
Um, because I didn't drop my first project until 2010.
Oh
And
wow.
that's only because Cool Nuts and Bosco, if y'all don't know them, you late like FEMA, they from Portland, they some legends. They was like, bro, you up here performing with 40, bro, you should be working on your own stuff.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'm already on the case because we had did the me and Doty Rock had did the 916 Unified album when I got him signed to Sick with It.
Yeah.
When I got him signed to Sick with It, you smell me? Um, and I had an artist named Spitzo the Prodigy, who was a producer and a rapper, and and he was super young. I don't even think he was 18. I think he was 17 or some shit like, or 14 or 16. I don't know. He was hella young, but he was super talented. And he had did the beat for Great Communicator, which was my first. I recorded like 2 songs, so I was already on the case when Bosco and Cool Nuts told me that I was like, bro, you should. And I was already on the case. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? But one thing about me is that when I was a kid, I had talent. I just was stage fright. Like I would clam up. My fingers, my hand, palms were sweaty, all that shit. It wasn't happening. You know what I mean? Being in front of people was not the jive. So when I started performing with 40, I drunk some Rossi. Cavio was his original, you know, Cavio from the Mossy. He
Oh
was
yeah,
his
yeah, yeah,
original.
yeah.
He was his original hype man. You know what I'm saying? Since when I first even got with him, he was already performing with him, the hype man. It was some reasons why it was a couple of reasons why he couldn't be there, and 40 was gonna handle it by himself, but Pizzo, our DJ, was like, Omeezy could do it, you know, because I was at every session. I was in the studio every session and all that. So, you know, I have the way my memory is set up is repetition, and I retain everything that I want to retain, and I was retaining a lot of his, his everything. And so it was natural like an afro. I was at all the shows, at all the concerts. We on the road, we doing it all. But I'm like, okay, this is in my mind, I'm like, this is your opportunity. Oh, like, you better suck it up. You better do your thing. You better, you know what I'm saying? Hit that Rossi, put on some glasses and just go out there and go for what you know. And 40 to tell you, it was one of his best shows he ever had. You know what I'm saying? I think we was in Denver or something like that. We rocked the hell out that mother. Like we did our thug thizzle. You know what I'm saying? So that was, I think that was 95. But before we did that show, we did a show in San Quentin because Cavio couldn't go to San Quentin for some reason, whatever reason. He
Mhm.
couldn't go to San Quentin. We performed, but we really didn't perform because it just so happened that it was an outbreak of chicken pox. So the yard was closed, but it still was like 30 inmates or something like that we still went to San Quentin. I don't think we performed, but I think 40. I can't remember,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I know we was at San Quentin. You know what I'm saying? And then right after that, we had the show, um, and I performed, and the rest was history. It was like at the end of the day, it was like we call it a crossroad, a fork in the road, because the hyphy movement was starting, and that meant that the old way that we was, old shows and all that was gonna change with this Tell Me When to Go and these hyphy dancers and this ghost riding, all the whip and all this shit that we was about to partake in. And 40 had just, most of my whole all these years, we 40's on Jive, so we dealing with Jive records. You know what I'm saying? We dealing with all this, learning all this different stuff. Next thing you know, he's signing to Warner Brothers, and he's signing to Little John,
I
and
forgot about
we
that.
go we go to Atlanta for a month and work on my ghetto report card, which you know what I'm saying, and which is why I got that E40 plaque because we put in major work, you know
Wow.
what I'm saying, for that to be what it is. We was when we was performing, we was doing damn near we was doing 2-3 shows a day, damn near. You know what I'm saying? Because we was on the N1 mixtape tour, you know what I'm saying? And we performing at halftime in all the biggest of arenas, you know what I'm saying, in the United States, like Madison Square Garden, like everywhere. We like our last show was at Madison Square Garden. Feel me? On the floor. We was doing what we call the Power Three. You and that booty, tell me when to go, and um, snap your fingers.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So when you put those 3 songs together, you can perform anywhere and it's gonna go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh,
So I was wearing different shades because different glasses because I would feel more comfortable becoming Big Omeezy, you know what I'm saying? Transforming into Big Omeezy, then everything else is what it is for the next hour or whatever, however long the show is.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah. But basically it was an opportunity because I really at a certain time I wasn't tripping on being an artist because I wanted to just be a manager because I knew that I had Chaz Hayes who taught me that you can make a lot of money just as a manager if you got the right acts and you do your due diligence and all that, you know what I'm saying? But that bug for me to be an artist, I still seen 40, you know, he's all of that as far as big house, big, car, everything. That's so when you got like I go back to when I was talking about these mentors that I've always had to look up to say, oh, this is possible. Oh, I could see this. You know what I'm saying? I could see it. If I could see it with my eyes, and I know your background, and I know that no spaceship came and gave you these special abilities, and that you could really anybody could do it if they put their heart into it and their soul and they do their due diligence. That's what page I was on. I was like, okay, so everybody know me as this head busted security guy. How can I convince them that I've been rapping ever since? See, this is what I've been rapping since high school.
Yeah.
So it ain't like I became, I was a security that became a rapper. I was a rapper who became a security so that he could get in the game and rap,
Right.
or or not even just rap, but just be in the entertainment business because it's already hard enough to get in the entertainment business. Hard enough. You know what I'm saying? So that's why even when I give people advice on how to get in the game, I'll be like, man, if you could do graphics, do graphics. If you could be an engineer, be an engineer. If you could be a publicist, if you could do anything you could do to get in there, once you get in there, get you some mentors and learn the game and move around. It's not really that hard to be honest with you, especially in 2025. I mean, it's not the same. The music business is not the same. And I wish people out there would have been able to experience that the way it is now. Like when we do shows now, Quick and Corrupt, Daz and all them, these is all our folks. We see and Bone Thugs and these is all our folks. We always on the road with each other. We real friends with each other. You know what I'm saying? Cube, Snoop, all these is all everybody grew up with each other. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to, how are you gonna squeeze into that? You can't. You can't squeeze into that. You gotta start. You gotta be a part of something else that's jumping off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like I said, I don't know how you gonna do it, but everybody got to figure out everybody got to figure out their way because I use my mathematical theology to put myself in position. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? People was going left, I was going right. It was going right, I was going left. It was going up, I was just keeping straight on a steady pace because I had my eye on the goal at all times.
Right. Yeah, it's very, very everything's different. What's Sub Zero's watching? Shout out to Sub
Shout
Zero.
out Sub Zero. Sub Zero, that's another dude. He was doing it before when we was hit him hard. He was really Lady Mercedes in it. He was really a artist, like really out here. You know what I'm saying? shooting videos and all that. You know what I'm saying? So and I'm pretty sure I want to say we did agree for show. For him, he's a Sacktown legend. It's a bunch of Sacktown legends that people that should have murals. And like I said, it should be a whole mural like the Cuff. And I'm gonna keep saying this forever. Like it's people from Sack as far as hip hop goes, that's raw as hell, that don't get their respect. A lot of people say, "Oh, we're gonna do a documentary." Yeah, but you ain't talking to the right people.
Right.
The people who know. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You're gonna get all these other people, but you ain't interviewing the people who was right there. You know what I'm saying? So good luck with that.
Right, right. And that is the truth. They did something, I think, at the Capitol, like give it like the hip hop legends or something at one time and stuff. And I hit a couple legends up. It was like they called me at the last minute. They didn't, and stuff like that. But
If
I
it
didn't
ain't, if
yeah,
it
I
ain't
didn't
got,
even get called.
if it ain't marvelous,
That's what,
if
yeah,
it
Marvelous.
if it
Yeah.
ain't Junk Joker, you know what I'm saying? If it ain't conscious vibes involved, you know what I'm saying? Ebro, Davy D,
And even when
Trejo.
Homicide was alive, what I mean? A
Oh,
lot of people forgot
for
about
sure. Homicide, you can't forget about him because he was signed to a major label. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? He in Rhyme or Reason. Get in and get out. Get what you came for. R.I.P. Homicide. Learn the publishing game and was always trying to help people.
yeah, it
You know
was.
what I'm saying? Yeah. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So it's a bunch of cats. Trust me. I'm forget some names. It is what it is, but it's
yeah.
a bunch of cats that you know what I mean that was holding it down for Shaq for sure, for sure. You got 60 seconds to wreck. You don't know about the hip hop workshop. All these are things that could be brought back, but it's some different iterations of it, but they ain't got the same effect like the hip hop workshop did.
Some people forget about some people forget about me. And I was like, I put a lot of people on. You know what I mean? This is like, okay, it is what it is and stuff. So Sub Zero says thanks for the love and stuff. But
Lady Mercedes, hello, my God.
yeah. But I was okay. So man, you just gave so much game and so much. People are saying, they loving the advice and stuff. Yeah, Sibo. They ain't gonna forget about Bo. Yeah,
Oh, Sebo? Oh, yeah, for sure, for sure. This is a fun fact. When we was at the Source Awards, when the Melee jumped off at the Source Awards, as soon as we cut through the back door, the first person we saw was Sebo. He was like, Cody, what's up? You good? I got choppers in the car.
wow. Yeah. See. Uh,
Straight up.
oh,
But
so
we was good. We was good though, but I'm just saying that's the first one we saw, Sebo. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And it's a super managed day. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Sebo in real life.
Now I remember first meeting you, and I forgot how I even got connected with Tailor Made Music. And I
Shout
remember,
out to Dion.
yes,
Yep.
we was downtown, and I remember you was there, and you was always looking mean all the time and stuff.
Not meeting in shadow.
Oh, we ain't gonna talk.
My eyeballs ain't gonna be all red and shit like I ain't had sleep ever days.
Shadow,
On
no,
my face, but like 40 said, I practice looking hard.
yeah, but ever since we met downtown at the Taylor Made had an office downtown, right? Was that it? I think
They had an office on Midtown or something. I don't know how you describe it, but it's
yeah,
right before downtown.
yeah,
Yeah, they had Dice Murder and a bunch of cats. They had Dice Murder, Doey Rock, Jay
mhm,
Gibb, and then shout out to Jay
yeah,
Gibb,
yeah,
Prince
yeah, all that.
Hakeem. Yeah, shit. They had a See, my thing is, anytime I seen somebody that was really putting in work, I wanted to help them because I knew I was in there, I was connected. Like I was really in the game with it. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? So any way that I can give some advice or make a phone call or do anything like that, it was all natural. It's like an afro, as 40 would say, for me to plug them in. Never asking for nothing really in return because I knew that it would elevate the city and it would and they would, but my only prerequisite is if I put you in position, that's so you can help somebody else,
right,
not for you to take it and make yourself a big eye and nobody and everybody is little used. You know what I mean? It's for you to use that to uplift other people, which is why I turned myself into an artist, because as a manager, I'm like, that's one thing, but as an artist, I could put people in, I could, do songs with people and shit like that to help them, you know what I mean? And, and to do my part, I could be more as an artist than as a manager per se, is what I'm saying at that particular time. You feel
Yeah.
me? Because I did learn from Chaz Hayes how to
Shout out
do
to
how to
Chaz too. I don't know if he's gonna
he
be
taught me
watching.
how to do he taught me how to do contracts. He taught me how to, how to do booking contracts and stuff like that. So once you learn how to do a contract, that means you can book shows. That means you can get money. It's work like that. And then you taught me how to, set up verse licks. You know what I'm saying? Somebody want to get a verse from 40. Okay, let's get that going. I get my little percentage. You know what I mean? And is that part right there, when you start seeing that type of money, you be like, oh man, let me do this. But then when you see the other type of money, you be like, oh well, okay, I can do that too. You
Right.
feel me? You can do both. You can do multiple things. It's not that hard. You just gotta multitask. You know what I'm saying? You got to plan it out and write stuff down and figure out what you want to do. If you don't do it like that, and you don't write it down and put and do
Down.
make a checklist of everything you want to accomplish, and just go about the business of checking off each on that list. You know what I'm saying? It's really not that hard. And so OLH Entertainment, Omar Lee Helton, Chaz has CHM, Chaz Hayes Management, CHM, Chaz Hayes Management. So I started OLH, Omar Lee Helton
Wow.
Entertainment. You know what I'm
That
saying? So if people want to know how OLH, that's how OLH came about. By me seeing CHM, I did OLH. You feel me? So when I started doing contracts, and 40 allowed me with Chaz to book his shows and book verse licks and any other and sponsorships and anything. I was running 40's MySpace page.
mm,
So if you running 40's MySpace page and people going there asking for verses and asking for shows, oh, that's easy. Bubble boo boo beat. Or if you in the traffic and you know what I mean, you exchange it and you know how to go to any event and work the room. Like as soon as I go to an event, I work the whole building. I'm gonna walk around 6, 7, 8 times just so I can see faces and check people temperature, make
you
sure ain't
do.
nobody got no ill intent, you know what I mean? But and then and
Do.
then after I do that, then I can go relax. After I've already seen everybody's face, made a mental note of everybody's face, listen to what people are talking about, you know what I'm saying? And if they and using my face card, if they see, oh, I'm trying to do this with Frody, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do this. Oh, let's do it. That's why I have the relationships today, because I was the guy that would always answer the phone, you know what I mean? Always read the emails and all that, to make shit shake. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was big.
You did
I
it for
know
me. You did it
huh?
for me because remember I told you I interviewed the clique, right? And
Right.
wasn't there. I had Joe the Fairfield. Remember I told you I was like, I said I never interviewed 40, but I've interviewed all the other members, the Mossy and all them. And you made
Right.
I remember you calling me with 40 on the phone. And 40 was like, hey, he already knew who I was because of me playing the videos and interviewing already. And then actually, you the one that hooked me up with 40. So I just want to thank you, for that. Cause now I'm like family.
Of course, of
So,
course. I mean, that's just,
yeah.
I learned from 40, the game is to be circulated and transferred. You know what I mean? He taught me a lot. He taught me, even though I was rapping in high school, 40 even one taught me how to count bars and how to, you know what I'm saying, how to count bars. If you don't know how to count bars, that's how you learn how to make a 16 or a 12 or 8 and you turn that into a record or a verse. You feel me? So I say that to say OLH Entertainment, Big Omeezy, I'm the CEO. I've put out 7 albums, my own personal stuff, out my own money. I pay for my own videos. I pay for my own studio time. I either do or pay for my own artwork, pay for my own logo. Everything I've done and released, I paid out my own pocket. Don't ever get it twisted. Straight up.
Young Meek just joined. He said, "What's up, Omeezy and Alita?"
Hey, shout out. Hey, that's my
That's the
dog.
OG. That's somebody we need to bring up too.
Been wanting this piece already. That's my dog right there.
Young
I
me.
used to see him. I used to see him at the gym. We had the most thugged out gym of the 24-hour fitness and yeah, thugged out. Rest in peace to a whole bunch of cats from that gym. You know what I'm
Oh
saying? Not that they all got yanked out of the game, but a lot of them on strokes and all kind of. It's like it's crazy. So yeah, shout out Meek though. That's my dog.
yeah, I just had him on a
Yeah,
couple
I seen it. That's the one I tapped in. Remember I tapped in.
Oh yeah, that's right. So God, we got so people always say, and I mean you talked about this and stuff. They always think that you got mistaken for D Shot one time, didn't
Ain't no one time. It's
you?
all the time.
All the
Don't ever
time. I,
if when I'm out when we on the road, it's either and I don't know how they think I'm B but they call me B legit. They call me yes they do. They call me B legit. They call me D shot. And then every time we together, I'll be like, let's take a picture, all three of us. So we take a picture. I post it and I say, just to let y'all know, I'm Big Omeezy. Use your noggin. It's
uh,
not that hard. You know what I'm saying? We big, we light skinned. Yeah, we favor each other for sure, no question. You know what I'm saying? Um, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. I sometimes I trip on it, sometimes I don't.
do you say somebody blocked you in trying to get an autograph from D Shot? They thought you was D Shot one time. Was that you?
Um,
I think you
no,
got some of his stories and stuff. I remember you telling me that you was like, man, they blocked me in, and I said, well, they lucky you wasn't D Shot because D Shot he don't play either. You know what I mean?
nah, nah, nah. I mean, when I perform on stage with 40, I do Beatles part on stage.
Oh,
As
now
far you know what I'm saying, on sideways, and I do I think I do D shots part sometime. Nah, I don't think so. On Captain Save House. But if you see me on stage with 40, obviously I look like a clique member. You know what I'm saying? So,
you look
you
like
know,
family. You know,
exactly.
yeah,
So,
you just look like family and stuff.
it is what it is. Yeah. I mean, 40 always call me his long lost brother. You my brother for real, though. Oh, that's my brother. I got to talk to Pops and see
Oh
what
my,
happened.
don't you remember? Oh my God,
It's
he's
a
so
fact,
funny.
though. It's a fact. It's a fact, though. But like
Oh.
I said, that's my big bro. It is what it is.
So what
And we,
artists did you manage?
I had Doey Rock for sure. I managed Doey Rock. When Doey Rock before he dropped Soul on Fire, he had a couple of songs with that Rick Rock produced. The Shut 'Em Down, Shut 'Em Down, Shut 'Em Down, and a couple of other ones. And so he didn't, but he had them. He did the songs, but he didn't have clearance on the songs from even Rick Rock. So I was like, oh, let me get Rick Rock, and Rick Rock was like, he made a deal where he could keep whatever. He said, just give me this song and you can have those basically. And he gave him permission, without. And at that time, Rick Rock was getting like 20,000 a beat straight up, 25,000 a beat. Don't ever get it twisted. So that was big. You know what I'm saying? He had a song called, though he had a song called To the Moon. Um, I forgot who did that. But when I seen the movement, with him and Black Zeke and draft and all that, had going on, I was like, oh shit, I got to be a part of this. This is like this will go up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, but and then like I said, I got him signed and sick with it. We was on the N1 mixtape tour. I had Doe on the phone, and I was like, man, you know, I don't know how it came about, but I was like, nah, he was like, well, let's do it. 40 was, and he called him. He was like, let's do it. Next thing he was on sick with it. And next thing you know, you're shooting. We was all at shooting with Murder Dog, shooting a whole big flick with all the members and shit like that. You know what I mean? It didn't work out. It didn't work out because patience is a virtue. You know what I mean? And patience is a virtue, and anytime you feel like you trying to rush and this that, pray on it. Ask God to tell you what to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Uh, he was super talented, and it didn't take much as far as management, but I know I had him doing a bunch of shows. I know he was opening up for 40 whenever he could. Um, so I had Dory Rock. I had English, like some Indian cats called the Daku Knocks, who produced a few tracks. They was from England. So I had them. I was we had a me and Mr. Kwame had a whole conglomerate of artists.
Shout out
You know
to
what I'm saying?
shout out to Kwame. Yeah, we
We
those
had
are
a
the good
whole.
old days. We had good those are the good
I'm
days.
just saying we had female art. We had all we it was going. It was going. It was some. I ain't gonna say death row, but it was gonna be something. Personalities clash. I'm an Aries. I'm gonna always do me regardless. You know what I'm saying? If and some things work out, some things, some people, some of the artists are still my folks. Um, um,
Ooh, that I think you froze. Uh-oh. I don't know. Let me know if y'all can hear me. First time this happens. Let me, can you guys still hear me?